Good morning, Neha. Good morning, Akshita.
Hi, Namita. Good
Good
morning.
morning, Neha.
Hi.
Hey, good
Hi.
morning, Neha.
Good morning, Akshita. Apparently, I chose to be in the office. So I thought that it'll
We
be
are in
fun.
office today.
Same here, same here.
Register, should we start?
Yes, ma'am. Just 1 minute, ma'am.
I think Vandana have not joined yet.
Wait maybe
Hi,
for a
Nitika.
minute.
Yeah.
Hi, Nitika.
Hi, Nitika.
Hi,
You also in office or at home?
office.
We prefer to be in office because small kid.
Ah,
Same story.
Shall we start?
Yes, I think we can start. Maybe Vandana can join in.
Yes.
We'll start.
Let me just call her as well. So,
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's start.
I think we should start. I'm not able to get through her.
Yes.
So, maybe she
Sure.
join.
Let's start. Maybe she can join us.
So good morning, all of you, and a very, very warm welcome to our first DB Leadership Series, Women in Corporate. It is a wonderful day, and what better way to start our morning with than to start with this series, wherein we all will be getting to know about your experiences, what you think about women in corporate, to hear from women successful women leaders like you. It's been, I feel myself lucky, and of course people who are attending this session, they also must be feeling very lucky. Pandemic and this lockdown has brought in a lot of negative impact on everybody's life, with people losing out on jobs, or people not able to connect with each other, or there are a lot of mental issues that people are facing. But like every coin has two sides, this situation also has two sides. Though it has brought in a lot of negativity around, but it has also brought in some positivity because it has made us do things which we never thought of doing before. And it has brought us even more closer because we have started working in teams more, and we have started connecting virtually. And this is the best thing that has happened in this lockdown and in this pandemic situation, and that is the reason why we are doing this session today. Otherwise we would have waited meeting face to face and then conducting a conference in a conference room in office, but today we know that is no more, not more needed. So we are here connecting with each other, sharing our experiences and not keeping ourselves with that barrier of going and meeting in office. So it's a wonderful feeling and it's a wonderful thing to do. So I think there are a few questions we would like to ask all of you, and we would want to know your experiences and your views on those topics. So here I am pushing out my first question to all of you. Before that, I would like to introduce you all to everybody. So we have a panel of leaders with us, HR leaders with us, who are successful in their own terms and who are heading the HR departments for Dainik Bhaskar. We have Ms. Akshita Karangudkar, head HR for corporate. We have Ms. Neha Arora, head HR for My FM Dainik Bhaskar. We have Dr. Nitika Rana Purswani, Head HR MPCG State, Dainik Bhaskar. And we have Namita Koyende, HR Business Partner for DB Power. I was just getting goosebumps, just telling out your names because, I've been working with you all and it's been a great experience for me. And I'm really looking forward to this, session. So I would just hit on my first question for all of you. What is that one thing that comes up to your mind when you hear the term women in corporate? And I would like Akshita to please, begin with this answer. So we would love to know from you what are your opinion on this.
Thank you so much, Tejasri, for the introduction and also for having all of us here today. I think, like how you said, Saturday morning, I think you made all our day by this beautiful introduction. Thank you so much. I think we'll wait for Vandana to join. We will start a session, but as and when she joins, maybe you can introduce her. So, one thing when you were introducing or when you were talking about COVID, one thing that came to my mind was, as women, for us, this pandemic situation has always been there. It is part of life. When people talk to me and when they ask me what is that has happened, I always wonder nothing much has happened. It's just that what used to happen to me or maybe to a lot of women, others are facing it. That is what I would say. So this is instantly when you said people talk about COVID, this is something I always relate to because as women, we juggle a lot of things. So it is constantly, there are disruptions in our life. So this pandemic is like a reflection of what we go through day in and day out. So coming back to your question, I think thank you so much for putting this question up to me. It looks like a very simple question, but it is complicated. To tell you, like, I'll just give you a small example. All of us know how important it is for us to have our hemoglobin levels in place and in control. We should have our B12 in control. But very rarely it happens that, we ensure we keep a check on all of it. Even when you go back and look at all the research reports, it clearly says 9 out of 10 women are anemic. Not only in India, I think globally. So all of us know about it. I think this is something which is a global issue, but very rare. Even personally, if you ask me, unless I seriously fall sick, this is never on my radar. So I think this women in workplace is also a very similar thing because everybody knows the kind of issues women have at workplace. Everybody knows what are things that actually because of which women take sabbatical or maybe they are not able to give their 100% or they're not able to be at a leadership roles, but very few organizations actually take a call or maybe look at creating an ecosystem that helps or supports women. One good thing is, I would be positive here. Maybe 10 years or 15 years back, when all of us started our career, things were, I think, much difficult. But maybe today things are still good. I wouldn't want to sound negative here. I'm sure it is definitely good. Maybe in the coming years, it will be much better. So here, my simple point is, I think now that all of us are part of the organization and we are also in a role where we can also influence, I think the change has to start from us. We should look at all those policies where we can see that, or we can support women who can come back to work or maybe continue without any discontinuation in their profile. So that is something we can definitely do. So these are my views on this question. Immediately, this is what that comes to my mind. Thank you, Tejasri.
Thank you, ma'am. That was really wonderful to know about your views of women in corporate. So before moving out to our, with the same question to our next speaker, I would like to introduce Vandana Sinha. Vandana Sinha is Head HR for Retail Sales, Dainik Bhaskar. Welcome to the session, ma'am. We are really we are really happy to have you today.
Thank you so much, Tejasri. And I really feel glad to attend such a forum where we as women, we can salute each other. We can talk about our experiences, what we feel, because we are not only running one life, which is in corporate, we are running multiple lives. So we have got multiple faces around. So I'm really glad to be part of this forum.
Sure. Thank you so much, ma'am. So we would move to Neha. Neha, we would love to hear your views on what do you think about women in corporate?
So Tejasri, to start with, thank you so much for a lovely introduction. I don't know, but I feel delighted then. There was a large smile, when you said you feel proud that, you are a part of such a, thank you so much. And of course, Akshita has said the context right. This topic is very, very close. The moment Akshita and you said that, let's do something about it. The one thing that came to my mind, let's do it, yeah. It's good to share perspective, good to share a platform with all of you. But before I answer your question, quickly, I would like to, highlight few facts. And I'm sorry, I'm a little analytical in that respect. And I'm sure most of us would know those facts, but it's good to just reiterate on this forum. In last 20 years, Fortune 500 women CEOs has increased 18 times over. Today, if we see the top, Fortune 500 companies, we have close to 8% of women CEOs heading and leading, those top Fortune 500 companies. Where if you Google it out, McKinsey survey report on diversity and inclusion, you would also see that companies who has inclusion or gender diversity, more than 30% of women executive, at any level though. So if they're having 30% of women in their companies, you will see these companies are more likely to be productive in comparison to companies, who have this ranging between 10 to 30%. And I'm sorry, I'm not a feminist and neither I'm promoting this. It's just a fact and it's good to know and it's a reality. So coming back to your question, Tejasri, is, I feel women in the corporate world is essential, no, you cannot build a successful enterprise if you don't have a right mix of gender diversity. So essential is the word. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Neha. In fact, you telling about the analytics has given that kind of a validity to that question. It is actually important and how relevant it is. So thank you so much for that analytics and for your views, sharing your views with us. We would also like to hear, Namita, what are your views, on this question about women in corporate? What are your views on that?
Thank you so much, Tejasri, for putting this question across to me. The first thing that comes to my mind when we hear this term women in a corporate is something determination. So they strive for many things, in their life throughout. So determination is what I feel brings them here, and they are fascinated about it. So that's what I feel.
That's great, Namita. Thank you. Nitika, would you want to add some points over here? Your
Yeah.
views?
So thank you, Tejashree. So what Akshata said, what Neha said, what Namita said, I have a very small. So first thing that comes to my mind when I see women in corporate is, the energy, the vibe that they get to a workplace. That's very different from anybody. I will not say a man does not get that energy or vibe, but I will say when a lady takes a decision of being serious about the career, there are a lot of things, lot of other aspects. She has to manage family. It is not that a lady is working so she is free from her responsibility. Family is managing home. So like Namita said, determination. So a lady who's serious about her career today needs to be determined to manage all the aspects, considering that she's in a corporate world. And I'm not a feminist like Neha said, but so she, at every point of time, it should not happen that that I'm a lady and I need 1+ treatment. So I feel very strongly about it. So hence, when a lady makes a decision of being serious about the career, then she's actually serious, and hence the energy, the vibe that she has to a workplace, I don't think nobody can actually match that. This is what I feel.
Very well said, Nitika. In fact, that is really relevant point today. If we think women and men should get equal treatment, first thing that should be done is women should feel that they should get equal treatment. So that's a very well point that you have made today. Vandana, it would be good to hear from you as well. What do you think about women in corporate?
So, Tejashree and other women colleagues, I would not restrict to just one word which strikes my mind. So, first word which comes to my mind thinking about a woman in a corporate is balanced. So, she is balanced because she is managing her family, she is managing her office, she is managing her friends. So, she is a person who keeps a balance in all these aspects. And during this pandemic also, if we look at women who are working in corporate, so they were not only working for work from home, it's actually working from home, working for home, and working at home. So equally they had to balance it out so that nothing is getting compromised. Then also they are self-created or self-made. So this is very unique thing about women, because unless and until they have that strong willpower within themselves, they cannot create it, because they have to fight out all the odds. They have to face the opposite gender. Many times they do not face the acceptance also when they are stepping out of home. So all these things are equally important for her, and also they are very inspiring. So normally we also look at the society when we see women who are at home, though they envy the women who are at corporate, but they also inspire them somehow, and they want to follow that. Yes, even I would like to look like her, or I would also like to have a physique or appearance like her. So women at corporate, they are having such a huge responsibility of managing all these things.
Tejashree
Wonderfully said.
here.
Yes, yes,
Sorry, please
Akshita.
go ahead. No,
No, no,
please go
please.
ahead.
Yes, wonderfully said, Vandana. In fact, to sum it up, like what all of you have said, we've got to know that women in corporate are not only just women in corporate, but women everywhere, in fact. So
Yes.
the multitaskers, not only in corporate, but at home, everywhere, whether it is school, whether it is a husband, kids' school, or for husband's office. So they are everywhere. So women basically need, in corporate, they need, if they want equality, they need to think that they are determined and they are equal with men first, to get that respect. And secondly, women are not only just present in corporate when they are in corporate, but they are present everywhere. They are multitaskers. So that's what I think we have learned from all of you today with this question. Yes, Akshata, you can just let us know what you were trying to say.
I was just, when I was listening to Vandana, I am here not trying to hurt the sentiments of the men who are listening to us or who are going to listen to us. I respect them. I do have people, men at home who equally support. I remember in my growing up years, there used to be one joke which all of us women would discuss in corporate. So we used to travel a lot those days. So every time there was a out of the city travel, the first thing a woman would do is like, "Arey, I should call the Kamwali Bai. I should see who will look at the kids, who will do what for parents." That was the first thing the women would do. Immediate response to that, men would be like, "Oh, I have this friend there. I'm going to catch up with him." So we used to have a hearty laugh on it. I'm sure things have changed today. Men equally support, but I think those days, this is something which we would always say. For us, every time there is home and work which is constantly running in your mind. So thank you so much. So it was on a lighter note. It just occurred when Vandana was saying, so I wanted to share it with you all.
In
Thank
fact, I think God knew what women strength means, and I think He did not wanted to take that panga. So He said, you manage everything, boss. You are here. So that's why I think we women have that power to manage everything together. That's why we are called multitaskers. So moving on to our next question, I would like to hear about this from Neha and Vandana. So, what is that one thing that you want workplaces to offer women at work? So what are that one thing that you want our workplaces to offer women at work? So I will start with Neha. How would you want to go ahead with it?
So Tejashri, honestly, we, of course, we have all born and brought up, our parents and especially our fathers, they supported us, to step out from your home. I belong to a family, a business. The entire pedigree is business family. I was the first to take up a job only, right? And one apprehension with which my father had, how will you? And my first job was in Hyderabad. So one is, I was doing a job. Second is, I had to go to Hyderabad. So everybody in the family, of course, there were few support, in favor of it and few not in favor of it. But my father was there at the back of it.
Neha, you are on mute.
Sorry. One thing which I feel, which we can give to women now as well is safe and inclusive environment. If we can assure a safe environment, your family back at home, they feel relaxed at where they are. They will feel that, there are people who will take care, at, even if, it's a second house and, there are people there who will take care of them. So I think safe and inclusive environment is what I think is one should have at workplace for women employees.
That's very well said. That's the need of an hour,
Yeah.
actually. Vandana, would you like to put some highlight on this question? What would you think? What are those things which women in corporate today, what the offices should include for women in corporates today?
See, first thing which comes to my mind, sir, that men should stop judging women as women. So there should be no discrimination between a man and woman in the workplace. So women, though they are physically very soft, but emotionally, mentally, responsibility-wise, they are very strong by nature, by heart, and they can take a lot of responsibilities which men can even give up at some extent of time, or they can not take so much of responsibility. And this is why today men are also welcoming women in shouldering their responsibilities back at home. So if a woman is not treated like a woman at the workplace and she is just treated, yes, she is a colleague, she is a peer, she is my boss, so she should be given that respect. So if I talk about, so definitely this treatment would come from men. So the men, the way they treat women at their home, they should treat the women at workplace in the same way. So giving them respect, giving them a space to express their views, not intimidating them. So these are few things which I think should be given to women to have a safe and a better environment at the workplace.
No, that's a very well said point, in fact. So, to sum it up, I think safety is something which every woman looks for. So safety is something which every officer should provide to the women who are working at every workplaces. Secondly, equal treatment. Equal treatment not only with respect to the behavior, but also with respect to the pay packages that we get, with respect to the leadership or the hierarchy that we go into. So with respect to all the points today, women are no less than any men. So, equality in all these aspects would also be important. So thank you, Neha and Vandana, for putting that highlight on this topic and, giving us your views on that. Namita or Nitika, if and Akshita, if you want to highlight on this topic, maybe you can also put in your points and your views if you want to add into it. If any of you want to add some light or something onto this topic.
Here, I think I agree very well with what all of them said, especially when Vandana said, when we call a corporate a family, the way you treat your fellow colleagues, whether it is the men or women, it has to be like how you treat your family members. That is the only thing I think that will ensure that, you have people who work for you. So when people come into work, I think the least they would expect is to be treated with respect. I think all the organizations, when you go back and look at the ones that are engaged or productive, they are extremely, high on these values where they treat people, they include people within the group, they respect people. So I think that is one thing I would agree, and I'm so glad to be part of Bhaskar, because if you talk to people who worked in Bhaskar before, not just because I'm working today with Bhaskar, I think Bhaskar has offered that kind of an environment for all the women in the group. I think you can talk to anybody. This is something I would feel very confident to share in a forum like this here. It is a safe place to work. I think it comes from top, I would say. So you talk to anybody who are at a very senior level in the organization, the way they treat, I think that sets a very clear, benchmark. So that I think makes a lot of difference. So I'm so glad that I am working with an organization where, I feel very inclusive and I feel very confident. Maybe that is the reason even a lot of them here, I think most of them have completed more than 5 years or more than 10 years. So I think that itself is a reflection of what the organization is about. So thank you again, Tejashree, for asking this question.
Thank you, Akshita. That was wonderful to know from you. Moving out to my next question, I would like to know this from Nitika and Namita, starting with you, Nitika. So, what do you think leadership is according to you?
Uh, See, according to me, a leader is someone who inspires and motivate. Whether leading from front, leading from behind is something that we all a leader basis instances, basis the assignments. They lead from behind, they lead from front. But the most important part of a leader is to inspire and motivate your team. So there are a lot of ways to do it. Personally, the thing that I believe in is, you should be what you want your team to be. So you should be a role model for them to follow. So if you want them to seriously consider their work, their priority, then you are the one who have to consider work your priority. Unless and until you show them that this is how it is done, then they will follow. Of course, they're here to work with you, but unless you show them that yes, this is what a person needs to do, uh, it'll be better. And the very important thing that I feel that leaders responsibility is to groom their team. Okay, let them do their thing, be there to help. So I feel there's no other better satisfaction you get from anything than when you see your person, somebody worked with you, has excelled in career, has become successful. So that I think is very important for a leader. And team also feels good when they work with such a leader who gives them freedom, but yes, he's there always behind them to support them wherever required. So this is what I feel about leadership.
That is very well put, Nitika. In fact, that is something which, it is always said that it's not the environment or the company in which you're working matters, but with whom you are working matters, which makes you, which makes you enjoy the job. So if your boss is good, if your boss is helpful, you enjoy doing work. It was really very well put. Namita, we would like to know your views also on these points.
See, according to me, leadership is actually, setting up a direction or have an inspiring vision to create something new. So it's like leadership is dynamic. It's, as Nitika said rightly, it's inspiring. So for an to lead, it's about knowing a roadmap where to go. As a team or as an organization to achieve something. Something to win. So that's what.
Great. Thank you, Namita. Thank you so much for your views. Moving out to my next question, I would like to know views of Akshata and Nitika on this. So, what is that one piece of advice you would like to give to the women who are just starting their careers in corporate? So, what is that one piece of advice you would like to give? I would start with Akshata first.
So, Tejasvi, I think today you've been nice. All my favorite questions you are posing to me. So every time I talk to people, even when I go for campus or maybe guest lectures, this is one thing which regularly people keep putting up, whether it is men or women. I think this is something they always ask. So my answer to this is very simple. You need to believe in yourself. I'll tell you why I say this. Transition, whether it is from campus to corporate or whether it is transition from one role to another, it's not easy. I think change is the only constant thing. So what happens is, I think we human are wired in such a way. Every time in your head there are two voices. One is that positive view and one is your negative view. So anytime you're doing something different or when you're doing any task, I think there is that negative view which keeps saying, are you sure you're going to do that? Are you sure you're not going to fail? Do you think you will have the required support? So there is this positive view also which keeps telling you, but somewhere, fortunately or unfortunately, I think the negative always wins. So here it is too important for all of us, not only for people who are starting their career. I think even today, I'll be very candid here. Many a times I also have this issue when I'm talking to people or when I'm doing something which is very important. I have something back of my mind running like, are you sure you're going to say this? Are you sure, this is not going to, affect you? So it is difficult for you to silence that negative view and then listen to that positive view and then go back and do. I think that becomes difficult. So maybe those days when we started our career, I think we had very few mentors, or not only mentors, even people whom we could go and talk to. I think that was something, a challenge always. So we used to have a lot of questions, we used to have a lot of doubts as to how we would handle things, but at that time we didn't know whom to go to or whom to ask or talk about. I think that is where, you start thinking, that negative thoughts start coming in. So even you're very sure about doing something, you start feeling that, you're not ready for it. So I would strongly advocate all of them, not only people who are starting their career, that you should strongly believe in yourself. And very early in life, I think you should know what is that you want and what are your strengths and what are your areas of development, so that you start working on it. So this also actually sets, the ball rolling. So you're very clear what is that you can do well and what is that area where you can seek help. I think that is something I would tell everyone. So believe in yourself. So silence that negative view which is all the time running in your head. I think support the positive view and then you will see the change. I think there are so many subjects on how important it is to think positive, be positive. I think it all starts from you. So start thinking positive and listen to your positive view. So that's what I would say.
That was very enlightening, Akshata, and thank you for expressing your views on this for us. Nitika, would you want to highlight few points on this?
Yeah, so my advice to any women who's starting the career, it actually is for everyone. So I very strongly feel that a lot of times we talk about that women's to be treated equal in corporates and stuff like this. So my advice is one, to be strong, two, to be prepared, and like Akshata said, that believe in yourself. So a lot of times, continuing with what Akshata said is, you have to think positive and you have to believe in yourself, and the fact that you are entering, or you've entered a corporate world, and you expect people in corporate to treat you equal. So it starts with yourself. You need to be, this thing should never come into your mind that I'm not being treated properly. First, you treat yourself equal with others. Don't think that being a girl, being a lady, you need one exception, two exceptions. No. So if you start treating yourself equal with others, I'm sure everybody will treat you same. And for that, you need to be prepared, you need to be strong, you need to think positive, believe in yourself. So all that is required, yes.
That's really nice. So overall, if we see to any women or to any lady who is starting her career in corporate, the first advice would be to believe in yourself. If we believe in ourselves, the world would believe in ourselves, and to have a positive approach towards the corporates that we are entering into. So that was really very well said. Moving out to
Tejashree,
yes,
hmm,
Neha, please.
one thing more, and this is a question very, very close to all of us, and I'm sure
Yes,
everybody would want to say. So I want to just jump in one thing,
sure.
what I have learned. uh, I feel that one needs to be, of course, believing and removing negativity. Everything is important, but I also feel that one needs to be fearless, and it's
True.
okay to be flawed. You know, there are times you feel, oh, I don't know. I don't know the mathematics. I was very bad in accounts. How would I understand the business numbers? It's okay to be flawed.
Exactly.
No, you need to ask. Just be fearless. Here, I don't know. Let people mock around you. The more they mock, the more you will climb.
Exactly. In fact, Neha, thank you for putting out this point. I would like to say, in fact, we all could relate to that point very well, wherein, practical life and theoretical life is really, really different. It has a vast difference. So I remember when I was entering the corporate world, I used to also think, Arey, I'm weak in maths. How would I do this? Or how would I achieve this number? But today we are managing payroll. So nothing is impossible. Everything is
Yes.
possible if you believe in yourself. And once you enter it, there's no stopping for you. So
Yeah.
that is very well said, and we all could relate to the point you mentioned.
Thank you so much.
Really nice. Thank you so much, Neha. So moving out to our next question, more than a question, it is just a topic for discussion. Bhaskar is looked up as a safe place for women. So I would want Vandana and Neha to put some points or highlight some points or your views on this thing. Bhaskar is looked up as a safe place for women. What are your thoughts on that? We would start with Vandana first.
Yes, thank you, Tejashree, for raising this question. So, yes, Dainik Bhaskar, it's a safe place for women. So, not only safe, it's a secured place for women. So, when we talk about safety of women, it should also include whether they are feeling only physically safe or they are also feeling emotionally secured about their job. So, like the benefits which are given to all the women in good professional organizations are being offered to women. For travel also, we make various arrangements for women's safety. So if they are traveling on odd hours, or in fact, we have also allowed that there should be flight arrangement for women or proper stay arrangement for women, or even in the workplace also, there should be safety ensured for women. Like I have also worked in states like Rajasthan, so which is a male dominant place in India. And then there is low acceptance of a woman as a state HR head. So, but still, I felt secured over there. I felt welcomed over there. And then there were people who gave me respect and proper regard. So there was no issue. It was my personal experience. Also, at the corporate level, also, though our gender diversity ratio is very low. So women, I don't think they would be more than 5% in the complete organization. So largely in print. Though, of course, the numbers would vary and it would be higher in case of radio and digital. But print, which is the base of Dainik Bhaskar, it is still having a challenge in increasing the diversity ratio. But of course, if women are joining Dainik Bhaskar, they feel welcome, they feel safe and secured. So also in case of a woman who is getting married or who is moving on for a family plan, she knows that yes, she will be coming back to join the office. She will not be losing her job, which is very important risk for a woman who is planning her family, as well as she is aspiring to become a corporate leader. So I feel it is a safe and secure place for women.
That is well said, Vandana. It is actually true, the last point that you mentioned about women going for on a maternity leave, because there's a lot of insecurity. We all have some insecurities within us. And when a company takes care of that insecurities and helps you move in forward, I think that's when gives you that confidence and that gist to move ahead. So that was very well said. Neha, we would like to know your views also on this point. What do you feel about women's safety?
I think Vandana holds a better edge. She's spent more years than me. However, I would just see, in terms of safety, that's a prerequisite for any organization. And of course, Bhaskar is not doing, something extremely extra, or however, it's a prerequisite. What Bhaskar is doing very good, and I'm proud to be a Bhaskarite, is we have our core values of emotional connect. When you in the organization, when you have this emotional connect in your DNA, this comes naturally. The safety, the connect, the trust, this comes naturally. And quick example, I joined 6 years back. My first travel, my CEO messaged me at 11 a.m. Hope you have reached safely. So I don't think so. I have to uh, say anything else that Bhaskar is a safe place or not. So it comes naturally to Bhaskar.
That is true. That is true. In fact, we also, when we work till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, we have seen our branches, our CCSMOs, our seniors who are male over
Yeah.
there. We've seen them coming up to us and telling us, "Are you still working? Please go home safely." So that is something which we all can relate to, because we know we are working with good people and we are safe over here. So that's really true. Moving out to our next question, I would like to know their Akshita's and Namita's view on this. We have been working virtually for the past 8-9 months now, and handling employee engagement activities virtually is a task. We all know that it's a big task. You have to not only take care of employees, as well as you have to take care of how you can engage them. Personally, face to face engaging them, it's much more easy because you know their how they are feeling, you can know how their real time expressions are. But managing an entire activity virtually is difficult. So I would like to know from you, Akshita and Namita, what are your views or your thoughts on how to conduct this employee engagement activities, in the virtual world, how we can improve them, or what all things we can include more. I would like to start with Akshita first.
So I think when we talk about engagement, it's not just in the virtual world. I'm sure all of y'all here would agree. I think even before the COVID times, I think engagement has always been an issue. You talk to any HR professional, the first thing they would say is they're trying to struggle to figure out the pulse of the organization. Once you get that right, I think everything else falls in place. So, talking about especially in the COVID times, what are things which at least we are doing at Bhaskar, or at least personally I am driving is first thing, when we talk about engagement, till date, a lot of times people get confused between fun activities and serious kind of an engagement. Sometimes it hurts when I am talking to people. People say, "Acha, HR mein to birthday cake cut, you're doing a rangoli competition." But I think these are all like decade old things. I think these used to happen. I'm not saying these are not important. I'm sure these are equally important. But today, I think engagement has moved on to a very different level. I think today everybody is happy celebrating their birthdays at home. They don't need a HR person to, arrange for your birthday at work. I think today when people come to work, they look for something beyond all of that. Today, when I'm spending 12, 14, especially in a city like Bombay or Delhi, I'm spending 18 hours all put together, including my travel and late work and everything. So I'm not going there to celebrate a birthday or maybe cut cake or play some games. I am more happy to see what is the kind of challenging work that I get to do. in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years, what is the kind of profile I will be handling? What is the kind of learning I have from my leaders? How is that going to affect my career, or what are the learnings I will have? This is what I am too keen to know. And this is where, when you say engagement, the HR comes in, the HR people come in the picture. So here I think many times what we miss out is we keep planning some very big strategic activities. In that we forget that simple, one-to-one conversation. Like how Neha said, emotional connect is one of our core value. I think today that is one reason most of us here are very close to our work or what we do. I think I would want to tell, I'm sure you're aware about it, Tejasvi, and everybody here is aware. We have this initiative called as a Let's Chat. So this is something, see, every day we talk to people, every day we talk to our colleagues, peers, bosses, but this is something which we have formalized in the last few years. So this Let's Chat is one such platform where if I'm a manager or if I'm a people leader, I formally sit down and talk to all those people who matter to me. It is a heart-to-heart kind of a conversation. So there is no rules, there is no script that is given to you. It is more to do for me to understand the person who works with me, to understand the person's aspiration, what is that the person likes doing, about the person's family. Many a times, I think this is the least people expect. My boss should know what I'm doing. When I call in saying I'm sick, she knows immediately, okay, there is my son, maybe that is the reason, or maybe my father-in-law is not well. If she's not able to connect with me on that level, I think somewhere, uh, I don't look forward to go back to work. I think that is something very, very seriously we push it in Bhaskar. So we are doing it twice a year, but this is just to set a context. But many a times we've heard from managers that, they do it almost every month. When we go back and talk to people, the team members, they feel very nice that, like how Neha said, it is not, I'm sure her family was checking and they were constantly checking whether she reached or not. But someone, whom you look up to, a leader at your workplace, checking that, whether you reached or not, it makes a lot of difference to me as a person in my life. I think that is something we do, right? I think not just now, I think for the last 5, 7 years, I think we have been doing it. I think now more so in a setup like this, where we are not meeting regularly, we make it a point where we ensure that we do a video call, we talk to people, we understand, is there anything in specific where we can pitch in? So we don't work on that one size fits all kind of a thing. We try and keep doing a lot of things which is people centric, which is, I think, creating experience, I would say, something all of us focus on. So that is something which has actually helped us. People feel very nice. Just to give this small example, Tejasvi, yesterday for Men's Day, I think most of you all saw I put it up on the group. So it was Men's Day as usual. I'm sorry we forgot about it. Last minute, I think we remembered it was Men's Day. So instantly, what Tejasvi did was, I think she went back to Facebook and looked at all the pictures of all the male colleagues in office, and she made a beautiful video and she put it up there. You won't believe, starting from Girish Agarwal to everybody in the group, they got so emotional. It was just a small video, but I think they were able to relate to those emotions. We genuinely felt nice to put all those photos together and share it with them. I think these are small things which we do to make people feel special. I think creating people experience which is memorable, I think, is something which we seriously focus on.
That is so true. That is so well said, Akshata. Namita, I would like to hear your views and some few points from you as well, how we can conduct this thing virtually, how we can create our employees.
Tejasri, as you said, that it always become a task, employee engagement. So I would like to add over here is, you like it or not, we are actually here in virtual world now, and it's going to be, we can at least see for another 2, 3 years, this effect of this pandemic is going to stay with all of us. So when we talk about employee engagement, I would say it has become a necessity of the, of today's world. So when we talk about employee engagement, right in Bhaskar, as we all are doing some or the other activities, I feel for employee engagement, we tried keeping our activities, under the 4 pillars of employee engagement, which is the first one is communication. we tried to be, very transparent with our employees in terms of communication, because that is what majorly the employee would look for during this kind of situation. As an organization, what are the future plans when this kind of crisis situation comes in? The people feel little insecure about their job. So at Bhaskar, we rightly always try to communicate to people, through our town hall meetings or through, management's webinar, that how we are overcoming this situation as an organization. Second, I feel, is development. Though everyone is remotely working nowadays, we always paid an attention how we can develop our people. Even though we are in virtual world today, we are trying to keep all training sessions online. Day before yesterday only, we did a leadership session for our senior management team. The third thing I feel is, culture. Though everyone is working today remotely, we try to keep them, aligned with our organization culture. We did the core value seminars. We tried to keep the expectations and goals clearly with our employees. And the fourth thing I would like to, add on is recognition. Even though we are not coming daily to office, we are making a point that we are recognizing our employees timely, very specifically. We are trying to keep this star of the month or a star of the week activities virtually, or we are trying to recognize them on our intranet. So I feel that as an organization at Bhaskar, we've paid our attention in this on these four core parameters about the employee engagement. That's what I feel.
That is really well said, Namita. In fact, it is really good. Thank you, Namita and Akshata, for putting a light on this. I think very well said by both of you that engagement not only means arranging, birthday cakes or just playing games with the employees, but engagement is a vast activity which needs to be recognized by the people, which also means having a transparent communication with our employees, having, taking care of them and looking up to their expectations and their development in the organization, setting up the goals right with them, giving them recognitions also becomes as a part of engagement activity. So that is really very well put by both of them, and hopefully engagement in future will be considered, in that manner, so that people take HR more seriously in future. So that is really well said. Thank you both of you. Moving on to our next question. It's a wonderful thing to be with you all today, and you all are successfully, and we all see it on a daily basis how successfully you manage your tasks as an HR leaders in your respective functions. So I would like to know from Vandana and Nitika, what keeps you going as a person? This is something which I really wants to know, because I'm being selfish over here, because this is going to help me in my future as well. So I would definitely want to know what keeps you going as a person. Like, you guys are a working women plus a working, working mothers, and working wives and a family person. So what keeps on going? What motivates you to give your best to your work also and to your family also? So I would start with Vandana first.
Okay, Tejashree, so a different, so I'm normally perceived as a serious person, but I too have a different side. I love comedy. Tom and Jerry is my favorite. I watch it almost every day before sleeping. Then I love reading books, so especially fictions. So I'm a dreamer kind of person, so I love reading fiction books. And also, I'm very fond of music. I love old music. I used to sing also, but due to paucity of time, I have discontinued. But I used to sing, and I have won various prizes also in singing. I learned courses in music. I did 2 years course in music from Gwalior Gharana also. So that is other side of me, which keeps me engaged with myself, keeps me happy in my heart. So that is Vandana out of corporate.
Thank you, Vandana, for telling this, because when we interact with you, of course we see you as a very serious person, but now
Yes.
to know that you love, there is a lighter side of you as well, which we would like to know more. So thank you so much for giving us that side as well of you.
And you gonna sing for us, Vandana,
Yes,
maybe
yes.
today,
Not
or
now.
I
I
don't
I'll have
coming
know.
to.
up to that.
I'll have to
Coming up to
practice
that.
that again.
But
It's only we, so that's not a problem.
On a
No,
lighter note,
after this.
whenever people have asked me about it, I have always told people it's the EMI that keeps me going. It's a huge
Yeah, yeah.
so anyway, nobody said that. I'm sure that's also important, and that is something that keeps you going because you really
Yes,
have to work and you have to really work well.
Yes.
yes.
Nitika, we would also like to know your points on this, like what keeps you going, what keeps you motivated. Like we have seen how you have driven the activity of DB Sports thing, and with all of us together. So it would be great to know from you as well.
So very different from Vandana. So people think I'm a very fun-loving, this that happy going person. But the other serious side of it, what keeps you going is like you said that being a lady in a corporate world, there are a lot of things that you have to manage. So one thing that I always remember, and it always keep coming to me, that my mother always used to say that people come in the world, people go from your life, come go, but you have to ensure, you have to think what you have given to the world. So one thing is that which keeps coming to me again and again whenever there is a whenever I feel ki, yaar, what am I doing here? Matlab, why I need to be so this thing about that I have to do this also, one two three, family, kids, work. So this one dialogue from my mother keeps me going, that you have to always think. You can't just be a working person. Okay, I'm going to office, I will do my 9 to 5 ka job and come home. But you have to make a difference. What have you given to the world as a person is what keeps me going.
That is great. In fact, I think so. The main thing is what keeps everybody going is uh, with working, how you maintain or balance your work life thing. So that is one thing which is important. You have to be serious, as well as you have to be on a lighter side of life as well, and not take it too seriously. So I think that's what helps to us to be positive and keeps us going. That's really really well said, both of you. So my next question would go to Neha and Nitika. So we read a lot of books over here, and lot of books, many books gives a lot of insight to us. So I would like to know from Neha and Nitika, which are certain books which you would want to recommend us and to all the budding women to read, which will help us and develop us in future. Starting with Neha, if you would like to give us few names, it would be great.
So, Tejashri, one thing I have to be honest, that I'm not an avid reader. I am not that kind of a book who will just take one book and read in 2 days. I take my own leisure time to read books, and of course, when I read very less. In my entire career span, I would have read like close to 30-40 books, not more than that. But couple of books that has really touched me over the years of time, and I feel that if anyone has time to read those books, they are very very close to me. uh, One book is I would still mention, though for women I will mention the other book. One book is Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. It talks about an authentic leadership. Very, if you are at that level, very basic but very very connective, and very simple to read book. So Authentic Leadership, if anybody wants to know more about it, one should read that. The second, for all the women, there is a book by Grace Boney, In the Company of Women. This will, if you feel dull, and at times, Akshita said, you need to have believe in yourself, you need to be positive, and all. If you want to really re-energize and have a spark within you, to go and achieve those dreams, and fight for those dreams, the courage, I think this book has a short small anecdotes of women around the world, how they what they have done in their lives, the entrepreneurship, the creativity, the challenges they have faced. So it's a very good book to read. I think couple of them is what I feel they are good. I'm not an avid reader. I really want to be a good reader. Yeah. matlab, I feel bored sometimes. I'm more of a listening kind of a person. You keeps on talking. And Akshita yesterday was telling me, Neha, honestly, you find nowadays people don't want to listen. They want to talk. But I would raise my hand and say I would listen for hours to anyone in the world. So that's it. Thank
Out
you.
of that 1% population, yeah.
Nitika, would you like to mention few names which would be helpful for us to read?
Yeah, so I think not specially for women, but uh, I mean a few sets of books. So I'm also not a regular reader.
So we can lose connection even in office. Nitika, this is for both of us. We came to office because we felt that we don't want to be lagging around with
No,
our
but in
internet.
office also there is an
In
issue.
office also, this can happen.
Okay. Nitika is back. Yes,
Is it?
Nitika.
Yes. Okay. So not specially for women, but the book which is very, very close to me and I keep referring to it often is Secret. And then there are parts to it, Power, Hero. So it's not a one-time read, I will say. You read it one time and then then you keep on going with your life, and somewhere you again feel like you are again down. And so that book, I really, really, I think every 2-3 months I keep 2-3 I read 2-3 pages, and then I go ahead, something like this. So that's a regular read, I will say, that everybody should read.
Thank you, Nitika. Thank you so much. Yes, I have also read Secret and it's really motivating.
Yeah,
The motivating book. It keeps you motivating actually.
absolutely.
That's really great.
If I can take a minute here, I have a small thought, a very personal thought, which I would want to share. Because every time, even when I talk to people, even I'm not a very avid reader, but maybe 1 month at least in a quarter, I try and read. So here I want to highlight this specifically because you'll have a lot of people who are starting their career who would listen to our webinar later. I think this reading is important, no doubt about it. More than that, I would say knowing what is happening around is too important, because I have seen even senior people with 5, 7, 10 years experience, when they come in, when you ask them about what is happening around, they are clueless. They are so glued to what they are doing. People don't know what's happening at all, especially with freshers. I have seen one issue which I have had many a times. It is a very routine question I ask about who's the chief, whichever state I'm interviewing in. I ask them about chief minister or maybe what is the GDP. Immediately people come back and say, I'm sorry, I'm not into politics. I'm like, to know the chief minister, you don't need to be in politics. You're supposed to just know what is happening because you're part of the nation, you're part of that state. So this is something which kind of puts you off. I'm not saying you should read a lot of current affairs, but at least when you're in a particular state, when you're part of the country, you should at least know the burning issues. So these days, I think since we are a newspaper company, we are a media company, it's too important that we do spread this awareness that people should read. So this is one thing I keep telling people when I meet: you should read. I
Yeah.
think till 10 years back, even I think I never used to read. I remember even now when people come for interview, very senior guys, when they meet you, when you talk business, they'll say, "Arey, you're a HR person, you're talking business." I'm like, I think that difference or that differentiation was like 10, 15 years back, that stopped. Today, whether you're a HR person or whether you're in MIS or whether you're in operations, you're
You
supposed
need
to know
to.
this. Otherwise, you're out of the game. So I think similarly, I think I would urge people that you should at least know what is happening around. I think 10 minutes to read a newspaper or maybe to see news, I think it's too important. I think even to our kids, many a times I tell my son, you watch for 10 minutes, you watch news for 10 minutes, I'll let you play for half an hour. You need to bribe them to do something because at least the habit sets in. So I would say, it's important that we should ask people, or people should read.
Thank you, Akshata. That was good to hear. And yes, reading is actually important, and knowing about current affairs is definitely important. So thank you for putting light on that point. So we are past our time, but we just have two more questions. So we are feeling so good to listen to all of you that, we can take that extra 5-10 minutes to, answer our next two questions also. So these next two questions are for all of you. So what is that one thing that keeps you going? What is that one mantra you have which keeps you going to, which helps you survive and grow in this corporate world, which is not an easy to survive and grow in? So I would like to start with Vandana first. If you can put some light on this, what keeps you going to survive, and what is that one mantra which helps you survive?
Yes, so yes, thank you, Tejasri, for this question. My mantra is I challenge myself. So whatever I do, I set it as benchmark, then I challenge myself, and then I move on with the next level of benchmark. So that is my mantra, so that I keep improving myself and I do not become obsolete.
That's great. Nitika, would you like to tell us what is your mantra?
I think one is I feel very passionate about what I do. When I started when I finished my education, I was not very clear what to do. So if you see my previous record, you will find that I've moved from one to other thing. But finally, when I got HR, so the passion that I feel for HR, the work that I do is is only is enough to drive me throughout my career ahead also. So I really feel very passionate about what I do.
That's great. Akshita, would you like to tell us something about your mantra?
Yes, I think here I have two, not one. So, first one, if I can be brutal here, one thing which has been drilled in my mind from day one when I started my career is there is no free lunch in life. So if you really want to achieve what you want, you need to put in those time, those efforts, that hard work. Many a times it is easy for us to look at people who've achieved whatever they've achieved and say, yeah, it was luck, it was easy. I think she was from tier 1 institute, or he was from, he had a strong family background. I think luck does play a role for sure, but that is, I think, minuscule, maybe less than 1%, I would say. But it is too important that you should put in your efforts. You should be very clear, like how Nitika said. She was very passionate and she knew what she wants to do. So I think that is important. I would say that's the first one. Second one is, I think for every situation there are two sides to it. This again, thanks to my mother. I think every time, even as a kid, when something used to happen at school, when I go back and I would tell her, she would first ask, what did you do? I would feel very hurt. I'm like, somebody has hit me, or somebody, I've picked up a fight and I've come home. She's not asking what happened to me, she's first asking, what did you do? So I think that is, maybe those days I didn't understand that, but today when I work with people closely, there is always a two side to it. So it's not a right or a wrong side, but two people's perspective. So especially in a role which all of us are there, where you have to take decisions many a times, you can't just go by what you see or what you hear one side. It's important that you hear both the sides. So this happens so frequently in corporate when you work with people. So that is something I would say, you should be very clear before you actually jump in or take a decision or take a call. You should know the entire perspective. That is too important, because when people come to you, when people look up to you, they know that you're the person who will take decision for them. So it's important that you don't let them down. So these are two things which I strongly believe.
That's really good, Akshata. Thank you so much for putting up your thoughts. Namita, what are your mantras which keeps you going and
See,
which helps you survive?
yeah, thank you, Tejasri, for asking this question. As my success mantra to strive and sustain in the corporate world is something that I've learned in this organization only. So, it has come from top always, that never come with a problem. You should always come with a solution. So, in earlier those days when we used to go to management, when I was probably some 5, 7 years or 10 years back, when we used to go with a problem, The first thing Giriji always used to say, next time if you will come to me with a problem, I am not going to entertain you. You have to come with a solution, So that is something I feel that we should, really pay attention on. That to see a situation or any problem, not to see as a problem, but to look for or seek a solution or differently that we have to see that situation.
That's really great, Namita. That's really well said. Neha, would you like to tell us about your mantra?
Okay, I think the mantra has been stolen. So I will, my mantra resonates with one of Vandana and Nitika. Of course, Akshita and Namita also, kind of, and any person who is there in corporate, and we are all colleagues. We are there in the system from last 5-6 years, so it has to match somewhere, that rapport. But of course, keep challenging the status quo. It is very, very important, I feel, and this has been my mantra. I don't feel relaxed, I will always be nimble on my feet. I want to do something or the other. So sometimes my team also says, "Here, calm down, take no." So I will, my mind keeps on running. So of course, keep challenging the status quo, and I'm extremely passionate about what I do. Either I don't do it at all, I will say I'm snoozed. I will not do it. If I do it, I do it with my 100% capability. I think that keeps on going in, and I'm a very selfish person, I feel that whatever I'm doing it for first myself and then for others, you have to love yourself and then others. And if you want other people to love you the way you have to love yourself first. So these are the couple of things.
Exactly. Thank you so much for putting those points, because I think the things that you all have said have actually given us the motivation to now we know what the successful leaders have the mantra and what's their secret to the success. So we know now, and I think it'll give the budding people or budding professionals a lot of help to motivate or mold their careers into. So that was really nice. One last question I would like to pop with also, now that we have got to know all your secrets and what is secret mantras and all, we would also like to know from you all what is who is the one role. Every one of us have role models in our life whom we look up to, and we try to become like them. So I would like to know from you all who all are your role model whom you have looked up to from your childhood or for your career or something, and who wanted to become like. So starting with Vandana, if you would like to tell us first.
So my first role model is my mom. So the way she has made the home. So I learned everything from her, how to be balanced, how to manage lot of things. Because just to share with all of you, so I belong to a very small place. So my dad, he was working with Tata Steel, and it was a coal division where it was a society kind of thing where, and my all relatives are also with Tata Steel. So it was complete family, extended family, everybody was there. So managing your own family, then your relatives, and then your kids and neighbors. So now all these things are too challenging, and the in beautiful way she managed. She taught me how to be strong, how to keep me focused, how to decide a goal for myself. In fact, the biggest challenge for me during my education, because it was a small place and it was long time back, 15-17 years back. So when I decided to do MBA, that was the first step when I faced challenge from everybody. So going out of that small town to a larger place to pursue my dream, so a lot of resistance, lot of convincing thoughts were also given to my parents. So why she should not be sent out of this place. So these were the things, but still both of them stood by myself and they supported me, and today I have reached where I wanted to be. And so I come from a science background. Then there was other thought that why she would go for an MBA, she should become a scientist, though I was good in science and physics and all. So so this is what I learned. Then I have also been I have been inspired by Sudha Murthy. So she was also a name in Tata Steel, a woman in Tata Steel who was very famous. she was refused to be appointed in the shop floor, and she challenged the management why a woman cannot be appointed. She was appointed, she was successful, and then finally she moved on with her next move of career. So I admire strong women who are strong with their thought, with their conviction, with their goal, and they keep focused, and also they are balanced in terms of their thought, their approach. They give respect to society, they do something. So I also have learned from them how to help people, whether it is in office or it is outside office, at family, or on road if you see an elder person crossing road. So like a small thing. So I love these things, and I have learned this from my childhood itself.
Thank you, Vandana. I think mothers would be the role model for most of us. They would be
Yes,
the first role models for most of us, because
yes,
whatever we learn first or take a first step, it is always from our mothers. So I think
very true.
mothers are the one who would be our role models, would be the common role models for many of us. Nitika, would you like to mention about your role models who
Yeah,
inspired
so
you?
I think rightly said, mothers are actually the first role models. So I have a few. So my mother, she, after her wedding, after she got married to my father, she completed her education, got into a job. After job, also she motivated herself and my father. Both of them did LLB also, and she was very clear from beginning that you need to be serious about your career, what you can give in to the world. So whatever you do, you have to ensure that you do it properly. Managing home and managing work is what I've seen in my family from my mother. I've learned that. After my wedding, my mother-in-law is then the second, I would say. She's not a working woman, but they were. So my mother did not teach me. She did teach me how to stand up, how to believe in yourself, but she did not teach me how to run the home. So that's something that I've learned from my mother-in-law. I think when I got married, I did not know anything. She's the one, because of her, I know things, how to manage home. And considering that she's never worked before, she was in a joint family. The support that I get from her, to be out. So when my role changed and there was a thing that you have to travel, so she was the one. It is very rare that a person who has never worked will support you like this. She has supported me like anything. My mother was then the person who said, no, you have to do PhD. She kept telling me after my MBA that you have to do PhD, do PhD. And after I got married, my father-in-law was the one who said no. So everybody, my mother-in-law will think something for me. My father-in-law will say do this. My mother will say do this. And my daddy is the one. When I see him, he's a very dedicated, professional. So the passion, that whatever you do comes from him. So I would say it's a combination of all the elderly people in my life. So it's actually very good. So I would say whatever I'm doing today is because of course, coming from my parents to my in-laws, that I am continuously doing it.
That's nice. That's really nice. And in fact, it is true that family support is really very important. And when they support you, you know what you have to pass on to the next generation. So that's really, really true. Akshita, we would like to know your role models as well. Who are your inspiration?
I think today, Tejashree, you'll have the same answer first from most of us here.
His
For me
mother.
also, I think, my mom is the role model. I think there are a lot of things which I have learned from her. I think it was not easy back then. She was from a very small city, from a small town. She got married and moved to Bangalore. And there were a lot of financial situations because of which she had to start working. For a woman from a village where she had not even gone out of the house, here to take up a job and then work, it was not easy at all. But not once I have seen her crib or feel bad about it. She would always, she would have this constant feeling of feeling good all the time. She's very brave. I think when people who know me personally, a lot of times they say, "Arey, this is because of your mom you do like this." I'm very brave, and I am practical. I don't know, many a times it goes against you when you say you're practical because people think you're emotionless. I think I am practical. That is because, my mom is like that and she is considerate. When you say practical, it's not that, you are not thinking about anything, anybody, but I think she was very clear what she wanted to do. And one thing which I've always learned from her is if you're very sure you want to do that, you should do it. But once you get into it, then you shouldn't regret about it. So make sure, you really want to do it or no. I think my marriage is one important thing. So I'm from South and I'm married into a Maharashtrian family. So those days I'm from a typical Brahmin family. It was not easy at all. So I remember the entire world was against me. I'm sure they had their fears. I wouldn't blame them. Maybe at that time I did. Now I don't. So my mom was one person who would always say, it's not that I'm supporting this, but are you sure, you're convinced about this decision? If you're sure, I'm going to be with you. If you're not sure, then I think, you should take a call. I know it will hurt, it'll make you feel bad, but it is still okay. So you need to think peacefully, carefully, and come back and tell me if this is what you really want, then I'm going to stand by you. I think it was not easy for a person like her to, go against the will of so many people and say, I'm going to stand by you. So it's like a 14th year of wedding and I'm happy. And even now when I meet people, they say they wouldn't have got a better husband for me. So, but I think those days, if she had not supported me, I think it would have never happened. Not just that, my first job was in a call center. Those days, call center was like, people would not actually, appreciate women going to a call center. So even those days, first, there were two job offers I had from campus. One was a call center and one was a small job, which was not a call center. It was a 9 to 5 job. I remember the call center was paying a little more money. And I was very sure the next 2 3 years, I wanted to make money. So when I went back again, my mom is like, I don't know why you keep asking me. Are you very sure you want to do this? Do you think you'll feel happy? A lot of people are going to talk about it. There'll be a lot of things. Are you sure you'll take it? I'm going to be there with you, but I don't want you to come running and say, I shouldn't have done it. So I think that support constantly kept pushing me. Even today, if you see when there is a decision which I have to take, I call her. She'll instantly say, I know what you've already made a decision. You just want that confirmation from me. So are you very sure you want to do that? And if you do this, these are 4 things that will go wrong. Are you prepared to, go through that? So I think that is something which, has always stayed with me, will stay with me forever. So that is my first role model. My mom is my first role model. Second, I would say all those women who think about themselves. So Neha, I felt very nice when you said I'm selfish. I always look at what is in it for me. I think somewhere people have made all women think that especially if you have a family, if you have a kid, you need to, I'm not saying you shouldn't take care of them, but beyond all of that, you as a person would need some me time. I think we feel very guilty, if you want to leave all work and keep that half an hour for yourself. So there are very few women I've seen who balance this very well. I would say now even I'm one of them. So maybe those days when I was growing up, I would always look at all those women who would they would be very bold to say, hey, look, I know I have to do this, but this half an hour I want, I'm going to do this. I enjoy doing this, I'm going to do this. So I'm sure it's not easy for people to say. It's easy, a guy would, he's upset or maybe he just wants to go out for a day. It's okay, that's fine, he's upset. But when a woman does that, okay, how can she leave the family and go? So all of us have gone through that. So I appreciate all those women who taught people that, beyond everything, you are a person, you need time, you should love yourself and you should give time to yourself. So I do that now. And when I talk to people, I keep telling them, hey, look, you need time, you need to give time for yourself. So these are two, one is my mom and one is a set of people I always admire and keep learning from them.
So thank you, Akshata. That was really nice. Neha, we would like to know from you your role models as well, who inspired
Okay.
you.
So of course the first one is by choice. We all have chosen.
That is a common thing. We should
Yeah.
make it a common thing.
I'll
Mothers
be,
are the role model.
I tell you what, of course, mother has their own innate, they'll teach you, they will give you all those values, which as a, which they would have, and also they would also, push you for things they could not do it, so they would want you to do that, So my mother was like, 40 years back, two daughters, everybody was like, you should have a son, two daughters, you know. So my mother said, the younger one is my son. So of course I'm the younger one, and she said that, Neha is my son. So since that time, there is an innate thing that, you have to be independent, you have to love yourself, and, you have to be free from every fear, let it be. She taught me driving, when I was 14-year-old, you know, and, of course we get our license, and then, in ninth, in ninth, yes. And then 10th, my board examination, she said that you drive a car, no problem, I'll take care of the policeman. So I was like, okay, and it was a proud, when I stopped my car in front of the school, and my, the other peers were looking at me, yaar, tune aaj gaadi chalai. So now these are the things, that gives you those confidence. So of course, mother is my mother is the role model. The second is, yeah, I really admire Indra Nooyi. I don't know. I get really overwhelmed when I listen to her. I think that she's so modest and honest. She's a girl next door, but yet too far to reach to achieve that. So I really admire her. These are the two role models. Thank you. I hope I've kept it short.
Thank you. Thanks, Neha. Namita, would you like to share with us your inspirations and your
I
ideas?
would like to keep it extra short, as you all rightly said it. So of course, for me, my mother is the role model for me. But when I was a kid, I used to, or probably up till now, till the day I got married, I used to somehow hate my mummy for trying to be little strict with me. I always used to wonder why she is tried to be so disciplined with me or so strict with us, because we are kind of six sisters and one brother. So all the pampering my brother used to get, and she always tried to be, strict with all of us. So now I realize why she was, So I of course take her as my role model.
That's really nice. I think it was really nice to hear from you all about the role models and what inspires you and who inspires you. Of course, mothers being the first one, because they are the ones who teach, who give us those core values to us, on the basis of which we go and achieve the success in future. So yes, thank you so much for sharing that. We have few attendees who have attended this session. So before concluding the session, I would just like to see if any of them have any questions for you all. So we would take just 2 minutes to see if anyone wants to ask any questions. So the forum or the platform is open. So if anyone has any questions, you can please ask to our panel, and they would be happy to answer your questions. So if anyone has any questions, please let us know. You can unmute your thing, and you can just ask your questions directly.
I don't have any question, Himani, this side. I don't have any questions, but I really wanted to thank Akshita for inviting me for this session. It was really a nice session seeing all women leaders coming under one platform and discussing about women. This hardly happened. I do have my 13 years of experience with a break in between, again starting my career, but I can relate to a lot of things that you were talking about. So it was really a nice session to attend. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much, Mani. Thank you so much for attending. It was very nice with a very short notice you attended. So, since not many people know, I think everything what we discussed, I think you can resonate with each and everything what we discussed. So,
Yes.
thank you so much for attending, and we are happy that you could relate to what we were talking. Thank you.
Any other question? We still have 1 minute to go. If any other question, otherwise we would conclude. Okay. I think we don't have any more questions. So thank you so much, all of you, for attending this. I think all of our Saturday is already made, because whatever you guys have said, whatever you've spoken about, it was very enlightening session today. It was really, really, really good to hear your experiences, what motivated you, who inspired you, and what you think about women's in corporate. That this has really helped us to shape up our thinking, to mold our careers, and to be a better professionals. So thank you everybody for sparing out that time, and for attending this session and giving us the enlightenment and empowerment that we much needed. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you,
Tejashree,
Tejashree. Thank
it
you
should
so
not
much
end.
for ensuring that on a Saturday you agreed to come and moderate this session. Otherwise, you know how it is. When there are 5 women, they don't need a topic. We start talking. This way, when you asked for questions, people don't have, because we spoke so much. For one question you asked, we gave 5 answers.
Yes, that
So
made that in
thought
fact
that
made
is
it
it.
more interesting. And I
Yes.
know where Neha is heading to. So Neha, I have that thing in mind. It should not end without Vandana sing.
No, not at
song.
all.
Yeah.
I forgot.
No, the session would not. We would not conclude it until and unless you sing a small song for us.
And one thing more, Tejashree, you've been a lovely host,
Yeah.
Thank you.
lovely on adding pointers and, guiding us. Thank you so much. And Akshita, great thanks to you.
Thank you
I
so much.
appreciate
Neha.
it. It's great.
Thank you, Akshita. Thank you so much.
And the best
So,
thing
okay.
Tejashree, we all liked is that constant boost of after every 15 minutes, you kept telling so happy to be part of us. You made us feel like celebrities, I think.
Yes.
So I
Absolutely.
was actually very overwhelmed and happy to be a part of this, and felt really happy because after a long time we have come all together, and this is a great platform to not only express what we feel, but it is a great platform to connect. As we always talk about employee connect, but connect between us is
Us,
also very,
yeah.
very important. So
Absolutely.
this is really, so that's why I was very overwhelmed. Because I also see myself go to that level one day. So it was a great thing to learn things from you also. It was really nice. But Vandana, we have not lost the track.
No.
We very
No,
much
sorry.
remember that you used to sing.
Don't disappoint. She has
Not
given half a
not
day
this
for
time.
Saturday. Half a
Not
day
this
for
time.
Saturday.
Maybe
She's done
some.
answering.
No, maybe
Vandana is
some
like,
other
why
day.
did I mention? Yeah, now this guy will make me sing.
Yes, exactly.
We're not going to leave you like this one.
No,
Please,
not
few
this
lines.
time. Maybe next time, or I'll personally share with each one of
Few
you.
lines, Vandana.
Sure.
Few lines. No, few lines. Just one song. Which is
I'm
your
not
favorite.
able to remember any song right now.
Lag Ja Gale Laga Do.
Laga do.
Chalo, Lagta Gale. We have a special special song this thing from you. So just few lines from Lagja Gale.
Lag ja gale.
Arey, this is that WhatsApp joke, yaar. Again, it's kind of WhatsApp joke.
Imani, do you sing till the time these people decide and before we wind up? Because you've been so patient, you've been listening to all of us. I'm sure some of it you could resonate. Some of them, maybe you must have thought it's a global gyan. Do you sing, Imani? Yes, we'll be so happy to hear you sing.
I'm not a good singer. I'm not a bathroom singer, even I would say.
Chalo, I can just to wind it up. I can try just 2 lines. Huh? लग जा गले के फिर ये हंसी रात हो न हो शायद फिर इस जन्म में मुलाकात हो न हो लग जा गले.
I think you deserve a clap. Thank you
just to
so
put an
much,
end.
Kritika. That was really sweet. That was
Thank
really
you again, all of you, for this, for your time and for being part of it. It was really lovely, interacting and sharing thoughts. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you, Tejashree, especially.
Thank you, Akshata.
Thank you,
Thank you,
thank you.
Thank you
Tejashree.
so
Thank
much,
you,
all
all
of
of
you.
you.
Thanks a lot. It was really lovely.
Thank you.